everyone, so today I am talking about 3 audiobooks that I recently listened to. So I love listening to audiobooks. It's a way to help me get through all of the books I want to read because I really don't have a lot of time and I feel like I can just get through audiobooks pretty quickly. I listen to them while I'm driving. Even if I'm just driving from home to school, I'll listen to them, or running errands. I'll just turn them on every time I'm in the car, and I'll also listen to them while I'm doing my makeup in the mornings, when I'm getting ready, when I'm cleaning, when I'm packing or unpacking, because I do a lot of that. So I feel like a lot of times I just fly through them, and I love the experience of listening to an audiobook. And it also gives me a chance to listen to books that maybe weren't on my radar because I didn't own them, or that I have been interested in but didn't want to buy. So I use an app called Libby, and I listen to my audiobooks through my library. So I have a library card and you can connect it to your Libby account and you can check out audiobooks through your library. So it's free and I just love utilizing that service. So that's how I listen to all of these audiobooks that I'm going to talk to you about. The first audiobook I want to talk about is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I saw when this book came out, the cover intrigued me because it's some of my favorite colors. I love John Green, so I was interested in this book because of that, but I feel like I didn't hear a lot about it. Maybe I just kind of like wasn't in the book community enough when this came out to really see a lot about it. But I didn't even really know what it was about. I kind of went into this book not expecting anything, and I really liked that I did that. This book is really interesting, and our main character is a 23-year-old girl named April May. One night she is walking through New York City at 3 a.m. and she sees this new statue. It's this kind of like a statue of a man, and it looks like metal, and she's never seen him before. She thought he was kind of like an art installation maybe. She called her friend to come check it out. They kind of filmed like a little clip about it to put on YouTube, and then come to find out the next day their video went viral because these statue men showed up all over the world in that same night, and no one knows how they got there. April May and her friend Andy were actually the first people to like post about these men, and they called them the Carls, and then everyone started calling them the Carls. So overnight they kind of become famous, and then this whole story surrounds them trying to figure out where these Carls came from. Are they aliens? Did a certain group of people come together to put up these Carls? This book has so much going on. It touches on so many different themes and topics that I really appreciated. I loved the commentary on fame. I thought that was a really fascinating part of the story because April May is just a normal girl, and all of a sudden she becomes internet famous and then world famous and has to go on the news and all kinds of stuff. So I loved the discussion on fame and how that can change a person. For me, the narration of this story made it perfect for an audiobook because it's like April May is telling you this story. It's in past tense, but then she also kind of talks to you in present tense as well and says, you know, oh, well, you know by now this is what happened on that night. So I don't know if that makes sense if you haven't read it, but basically this book makes it seem like all of this really did happen, and that April May is kind of like telling her side of the story on her perspective and what she experienced throughout all of this. It was definitely like April May was telling you the story, and I thought it fit very well with audiobook. And there was also a lot of discussion on just human nature and how we naturally respond to the unknown. If something like this were to happen, it kind of just explores how we as humans would approach it. And of course there are 2 opposing sides that come about. So this book does go into, you know, kind of the politics of it, and the world kind of turns it into a divisive thing and makes it like good versus evil. April May's internal struggle with that and how she deals with the opposing side. And I really enjoyed all of that discussion as well. I just enjoyed this book overall. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I loved the audiobook format of it. I loved all of the themes that it brought up, and the mystery part of it was really fascinating of how these Carls got there. There is going to be a second book. I was very intrigued and compelled while I was reading it to figure out answers, and it kind of turns into like a puzzle. I just loved all of the things that were going on in this book. I love the characters. There is bisexual representation in this book, which I feel I don't read a lot of. So I believe those are all of my quick thoughts on An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, but I give it a big thumbs up. I really liked it. The next book is The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. I did give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. It's a mystery book. Our main character is Monica. She's in high school and she lives in this town where 5 years ago, 5 cheerleaders died all around each other. 2 of them got in a car accident, 2 of them were murdered by someone, and then 1 girl committed suicide. And they were all friends and on the same cheerleading squad, and our main character, Monica, is the sister of the girl that committed suicide. Monica's gone through a really hard time recently, and she's starting to think about all of these deaths and how some things just aren't lining up and don't make sense. So she kind of takes it upon herself to start figuring out what happened to these girls. Everything isn't as it seems, and she starts kind of talking to other people that knew the girls and figuring things out. This book I didn't love, I didn't hate it. It was just okay. It was intriguing and I wanted to keep listening so that I could hear what happened. I thought Monica was a very strong and tenacious character. Definitely a very fascinating and gripping story. I will say there were more serious topics discussed and that it was kind of a heavier read in some aspects. So I will give you like a content warning if you are interested in reading this book. Just be aware that this book deals with things like suicide, statutory rape, abortions, and murder. I feel like this book just touches on a lot of very real topics, but also things that could make readers uncomfortable. So I just wanted to mention that. Even though I liked it, I did feel like it was a little unrealistic. These high schoolers are like figuring out things that the cops couldn't even figure out. So I felt like it was a little unrealistic in that respect, and then also a little predictable. I didn't think it was too hard to figure out all the answers, but I still had an enjoyable time along the way. So it wasn't the best, wasn't the worst, but I really enjoyed Kara Thomas's other book, The Darkest Corner, so I would recommend that one over this one. But I didn't hate this one. Alright, so the last book I want to talk about is And the Trees Crept In by Kurtagich. So this is a really creepy book, so if you don't like scary, creepy books, this may not be the book for you, but I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars, and that was mostly because of the production of the audiobook. Well, not mostly. I liked the story, but the production of the audiobook was on point. I saw this book on Trina at Between Chapters YouTube channel. She recommended it. She said that the audiobook was really good, so I decided to try it out, and it was really good. What was awesome about this audiobook is that there's a lot of sound effects. The way it was just narrated, the way the voices were changed and edited for the different characters in different situations, I thought was just awesome, and I've never listened to an audiobook like that before. So of these 3 books I'm talking about, I think this one had just the best audiobook quality, and for me it was definitely worth listening to it over reading it in physical book form. But this book follows 2 sisters, Scylla and Nori. They run away from home because they don't have a great family life, and so they've always heard about their mom's sister, their aunt, having a house in the woods. So they ran away from home to go find their aunt and live with her. When they arrive, things get weird. I guess that's about all I'm gonna say. I think one of the awesome things about this book is seeing how it unfolds and what happens, so I don't want to give away too much. But yeah, the title kind of explains it. And the trees crept in. This house in the middle of a forest, and it's really creepy. Just really creepy. I thought this book was an excellent thriller. If you want to be scared, if you want to be creeped out, this is the book. I will say, like, even I think within the first 2 to 3 chapters I had goosebumps, and it was broad daylight, and I was freaked out. So it's out there. I would say it's very disturbing if you're sensitive to those kinds of things. Not the book for you again, but it's very disturbing, it's very strange, but the ending took me by surprise. I didn't see it coming, and I thought I had some predictions, and I thought maybe I had it figured out, but I did not have it figured out, and I love when a book surprises me. So it took me by surprise. I was very intrigued by the way it ended. I don't really know how to explain it. The ending was weird but good. I liked the way it ended. I can definitely see some people not liking it. Like I said, it's a very strange book, so I could see it not being some people's cup of tea, even if you like scary things, but for me, I really liked it. And it really doesn't have that good of a rating on Goodreads. In the middle, it definitely got a little monotonous and boring. I really wanted something big to happen, and I felt like the pace didn't really speed up enough for me until towards the end. I felt like I was kind of having to like trudge through it, you know. And the middle wasn't the greatest, but I really enjoyed the beginning and the end of it and how everything wrapped up. I will also give content warnings for this book because this one too also deals with heavy and sensitive topics like mental and physical abuse, suicide, kind of like starvation and eating disorders, as well as mental illness. So it does touch on a lot of those things. It doesn't really like discuss them at any length. They're just kind of like included in the book. So just wanted to give that warning because this is a very visceral read, I will say. All right, so those are all of my thoughts on these 3 audiobooks. I hope you enjoyed. If you've read these books, let me know in the comments, and also let me know what's your favorite audiobook. Like, what book are you so glad that you listened to it instead of reading it in physical form, that you feel like it was just such an immersive experience? Please let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.